Good morning and welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna and I thought I would do another video this morning because I'm working on a design that I started late last night right before we put the kids to bed and all that business. And it's a more sort of ethnic design than I normally do, and it's not really my thing, but I'm combining a couple of art forms that I think are quite familiar to most people. And I thought if you're sitting around too in quarantine losing your mind, you might want to work on some new designs or do something that's different or unique, or a project that you could even cross over with kids or grandkids. So what I'm working on is a frame, like a Mola or a German paper cut cross style frame. So I'll show you where this idea came from and how I'm doing it in case you want to do something similar, just for fun or for a future project or for the holidays. This would translate well to a holiday design. So last night when I was sitting around losing my mind for the 100th time in a day, I was looking at this really old 1970s book on stitching, crewel stitching and stuff. I do a lot of other stuff besides rug hooking, mostly rug hooking now, but I used to love hoarding these old books. So this one is by Donna Malick and Lee Erlin Snow. And the thing that really got me was this particular image on this page, because it reminded me of, I took a German paper cutting class with my mom this past summer in Kennebunkport, Maine, at a gallery that started giving classes. It was real fun, and it was my Mother's Day gift to her. So we really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed German paper cutting. And then when I saw this design, again, a bit more ethnic, but it made me think about the sort of Mola designs, which are the designs from Panama, the reverse applique. And if you're a quilter, you're already familiar. There's like a huge trend in doing Mola designs in quilting. And applique is literally, for total laymen, is literally the art or the craft or the application of putting material onto something and attaching it with sewing. And reverse applique, which is what Mola is when you put sort of the stencil reverse of it and your colors behind it. So you're stitching on the outline of it rather than the applique shape itself. It's a reverse process, and it's interesting, and it creates different types of designs because of the process. So these are, the Mola designs come from Panama, and you see them on the traditional blouses that women would wear. My design is something in between. So I'm doing this more like a German paper cutting style Mola frame. And this is something you could do with your kids. I'm going to try to bring you with me here over my shoulder. This usually works to show you what I'm doing. And follow along if you want. Put me on pause or whatever. This might be a multi-part that I have to clip together, but let's see how it goes. So what I did was these are the pieces that I've put together so far. Let me bring you in a little bit closer. And I'm not going to show you me, I'm going to show you hands. Handsy pansies. So the first thing that I did was grab paper and start cutting. You could do it a bit more logically and sensibly if you decide what size you want your paper first, and then draw your grid. So my idea, my end game idea, is that I'm going to do this design, and in the middle square, I'm going to make, I don't know, a cat, a dog, something to do with our family, something I like. And then the frame is going to be these paper cut designs. So once you get your grid go, and I'm also going to enlarge this when Staples opens again, if Staples ever opens again. Otherwise, I have to project it through my computer. We'll talk about that later. It's like 10 extra steps in between. So if you want to do this, I would say first choose the size of your paper. And if you want to do it full size and you don't want to worry about blowing it up or projecting it larger or having to transfer it larger, then do it full size the way you want it now. And do your border. Your border might not be like mine. My border is a grid. This is what my border looks like now. It's in pencil, so you might not be able to see it. But this is the sort of size it is. Now, once you've got your border set out, you're going to want to, this is not perfectly symmetrical. So these squares are a little bit smaller than these squares. And I don't know if you noticed, but in my design, I've got double squares here and here, and just singles everywhere else. So let me bring you back right to the paper. So you could set this out any way you wanted it to. You could have this be a big arc or curve. You could have this be a diamond, an offset diamond or square, a cloister type design, a trefoil, anything you want. I just did this real simple right now. My son is signaling me. I'm doing a video. Off you go. Yep, sign language, don't get it. So then I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to put these things aside and I'm going to get a rough idea of what size I'm going to need to cut. So if this were a science, it wouldn't be as charming and it wouldn't be as fun to do and it would come out too perfect, like something the computer had generated. Don't turn it into a science. Keep it fun, keep it folky, right? Because we are working on a hook drug design. So knowing I have this in 4 corners, I'm going to need 4 of these. So I've just got construction paper. I raided my kids' closet, got construction paper, and I'm going to cut out 4 of this size for my corners. Maybe you want the same design on all 4 corners. You know, maybe you want this on all 4 corners, and you're just going to turn it a different way in each corner, flipping it to make it look more symmetrical. That is a way to bring symmetry, but I just want to remind you that this design, if you want to go a bit more traditional with the Mola style, this design is not super symmetrical. It's very different and varied, and it's different from square. Well, actually, they do have the 4 designs on the same. I take it back. They have 4 repeats here, they have 2 repeats here, and then they have 2 sets of repeats here. So you could easily do that too. Mine, I guess, is more of a mess or a hodgepodge. But what I noticed was, if you look at the way my square came out, I'm recording a video, Joss. This square is a little bit different. This square is offset. So if you want an offset square, you're going to have to fold your paper differently. So I'm going to fold it, instead of in half, I'm going to fold it like this. And then I'm going to fold it in half. And you see I have a not quite perfect square here. We're not doing origami or anything like this. This is just straight, easy stuff. Now, if you want, you could draw a design on it first. I haven't done that yet, so let's see how preparing your work before you do it helps. No, I can't. I just can't. I'm not a prepare person. I'm just going to go for it with scissors. But maybe you want to do it by preparing it. And you can do 100 of these and just choose your 9 best or whatever, or just choose your 4 best. So knowing that the center, like making a snowflake, is important, I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to work on doing shapes around the edges. And remember, it's offset, so I'm not getting all 4 layers for every single cut. I'm just cutting kind of willy-nilly. It looks like I have kind of a duck's head so far. It's not going to stay that way. I'm just cutting willy-nilly. I like the way that the rays look. This kind of starburst ray looking thing is a good effect, I think. I'm going to do a little bit more of that. This is random. And again, the less of a science you make this, I think the more charming and traditional it will look. This is real simple, so I'm not going to leave it at that yet. And I'm not loving the way these corners are, so I'm going to round stuff off a little bit. I think I'm going to round this off too. The Mola designs are very round. I might leave one of them sharp and see how that looks. So this is what I've got so far. Your jacket's making a lot of noise, Joss. Can you go take it off? Thanks. Child right here on my heels. Apron strings. All right, so I cut a little divot out of there, and now I'm going to do a little bit more divot cutting just for fun. Now remember, you're going to be hooking this, so you don't want to make it over complicated. So I took a little divot out of there now, and I might have a peek at it. I'm a bit curious about what's going on with my center, because the centers will be important. This looks like a bit of a blob. Let's take a divot out of this too. This is all trial and error. And like I say, if you need 9 blocks and you make 18, who cares? We're just sitting around in quarantine anyway, right? Doesn't make any difference. So if you have the time, of course, maybe you're working, maybe you're not juggling kids and homeschooling and losing your mind. So this is not as off-center as I thought it would be, but I still really like the design. This is more of the middle ones, I guess. It's a little bit smaller. But yeah, this isn't one of the corner ones. This is more of a middle size as it turned out. You know, I could go back into it and do more clipping, you know, here, folding it again, or not. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. It almost looks like a mask or whatever, but each one is going to come out different and look different. Once you have all your designs that you're happy with and you're just going to go for it, place them. So I think I had this one up here, and I like the starburst shooting down that way. And then I had 2 little ones actually here. I liked having the 2 different ones there. I'm going to have to decide whether I want to use my new patch or not now. And think about, you know, some of my designs, and I'm sure some of your designs too, some of them are going to be very boxy and symmetrical, and some of them are going to be more round and wavy. And if you got a lot of the rounds and wavy, you probably don't want to put them immediately next to each other, just for variety. See, here's another round and wavy. That looks like the Cthulhu monster right there. See, now I'm kind of liking this one, and I feel bad leaving it out. But I don't want a middle design because I want to hook a middle design. Or do I? Maybe I'll just change my mind and do the whole thing hooked. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. It's good to change your mind, right? It's good to be flexible. So, sorry about the children talking in the background. It's just the way it is. I'm going to stick with this for now. Let's see what we've got. I can always change my mind later. So now I've got my grid there, and I'm just going to slip my guys behind. You might have to do this a few times. I'm using tracing paper. I'm using tracing paper for every design. Multiple times I do it over and over and over with tracing paper until I think I've got it right. But I can see this is a little asymmetrical because it wants to go sideways a bit. So let's let it go sideways a bit. I'm just going to trace it here now. And again, the design is for you. Unless you are commercially selling one of these or having it printed or something like that, don't worry about the imperfections. If you're going to be hooking it, you're going to have to work with it as you go along anyway. That's what designing is. That's the fun of it, is figuring out problems, solving problems as you go. We've got a lot of geometrics, but I've got a lot of squiggles too. And it's not quite meeting the borders, so I'm going to just drag it up to meet the borders a bit better. But I know in my head, in the back of my mind, if it's still there, that when I'm hooking it, I will be thinking as I go about how the shapes are looking and how they're coming out and how the symmetry and geometry is working out in terms of what my eye likes. Your eye likes something different, and you might be happy with something different, or only straight lines or only right angles. My mind is going to work differently, so we're going to make choices based on, you know, what is pleasing to each person. And that's the great thing about designing. That's your chance to do it exactly the way you want it. So I'm just slipping these two guys under into the grid. And as you can see, I'm lining it up so that I like the way that it looks. I've fooled with these quite a bit this morning already, well, for 10 minutes anyway, and figured out which ones I like where. And then you're just rejigging and jigging and rejigging until you feel like it's right. And if you don't want to make designs this intricate, keep it a little bit more simple. But if you do a repeat like this, a repeat pattern like this that's a border, it will, whether you mean it to or want it to or not, it will end up looking a bit ethnic. And that's what this video is about, making something that does. So I'm coming up here. If you're a better paper cutter than I am, which would not be hard, you could do things that look like masks, or you could do a Christmas version of this that everything looks like a snowflake and then put a picture of Saint Nick or whatever in the middle. That would be fun too. Now here comes the Curlicues. This is what makes the Mola, is the Curlicues. This is my deviation from the German style. When you see circles like that. Those are a bit harder to hook too, as you know, but fun. I feel like I just made a bunny face or a deer face in there. So another idea, you could do the paper cutting and try to do faces of animals and silhouettes, or faces of people in silhouettes. That would be a really nice twist too. And me shifting the paper over before I folded it and started cutting was a way that I made it asymmetrical because I wanted it that way. If you kept everything very origami, very straight corners, right angles, you would have perfect symmetry. It depends on what you want, and that's why experimenting is fun. Since we have the time to do it, let's do it, right? Don't always have the time to do anything in this world. So I'm just going to do one more into the corner. I'm just tracing these into place, and I could easily flip to the next page of my tracing pad and do it again and tidy them up. Or maybe I don't like the squiggle, or maybe I wish the squiggle ended in a different way, but my scissors just weren't good enough, or I wasn't good enough clipping to get that. This is my chance to do it, right? These paper cuttings that you're doing and dropping behind are just a suggestion of the shape. You can now fool with the shape to your heart's content, with the tracing paper. You can do tracing paper over tracing paper until you get the design that you think is what you mean and is what you want. Maybe it's bold, maybe it's round, maybe it's totally asymmetrical, maybe it's curlicues, maybe it's whimsical, maybe it's depictions of animals or snowflakes. But you can change it as you go. You can drop whole pieces of this or cut half of it off and not make it symmetrical at all. Of course, you don't have to do folded paper. You could just do cut paper, make straight old silhouettes and use those. But you can see, as I clear out here, I'm going to end up with a design that has a lot of interest and a lot of interesting lines to hook. Now, I've seen these designs hooked. Gosh, what site did I see them on? I'll tag the site. Yeah, I'll tag the site in this post. It'll be the first comment. But I've seen these designs done with an all black background and then real rainbow colors, real neon colors. I think that sounds great. I think they also sound great if you make each background square a different color and then put, like, for example, maybe I do the whole background in very light gray, like a dove gray, and then in the front I do hot pink or mottled pink or something like that, or I use my yarn, my color changing sock yarn, and I do something really bright that pops itself. Or maybe I go with these colors, very sort of Mexican party, Day of the Dead colors. That works too. Maybe on a white background. Maybe you want it red and white, just red and white, all red background and white cutouts. Whatever you want, but just think about the possibilities. There's so much here to work with. And you might want to do a much bigger open center and lots of these framing it for your piece in the middle, like a rug hooked piece of a landscape or your home or a letter or your astrological sign. But lots of ideas here. This is just, I'm going to, in the end, decided on this video, turn it into one piece, and it's going to be a lot bigger. But you could work it as a frame. You could work these as stair risers, not the treads on top, but the risers, you know, on the sides. Just line a bunch of them up, make them the right size, and hook them. So you've got like climbing up to the lofty upper floors with lots of designs in view as you go. There's so many things you can do, but this is just a basic way of designing with paper cutting, with plain old scissors, plain old construction paper, plain old tracing paper, and Sharpie, magic marker, pencil, anything. Just something fun and easy to do. An idea for a crappy quarantine day, which doesn't have to be crappy. You can make it fun, find some interesting things to do. And I hope that this was an interesting video and maybe gave you some ideas of something to work on, some original patterns. Good luck with being at home and stay safe.